Today, we're diving into an absolute classic, a book from way back in 1959 that has sold over 6 million copies for a reason. The Magic of Thinking Big by David J. Schwartz. And let me tell you, this isn't just about what you do, it's about fundamentally changing the size of your thinking. But before we get into all that, let me ask you a question. And be honest with yourself for a second. What's your go-to excuse? You know, the one you pull out when you know you should do something, but you just don't? We all have one. I bet it's probably one of these, right? Oh, I'm too old for that. Or maybe I'm just not smart enough. How about I don't have the time? Or my personal favorite, I'll start when things are absolutely perfect. Whatever your flavor is, these excuses, they are the #1 barrier holding you back. In fact, David Schwartz actually gives this habit a name. He calls it excuseitis, and he calls it the disease of failure. Sounds pretty serious, right? But here's the really good news. Unlike a real disease, this one is 100% curable. So what exactly is it? Well, Schwartz calls it a mind-dulling thought disease. Think about that. A person with a bad case of excuseitis just goes through life with a running commentary of why they haven't done something, why they don't do it, and why they can't. It's this vicious cycle of inaction that just completely shuts down our potential. And Schwartz noticed this really simple but profound truth. He said, the more successful the person, the fewer excuses he or she makes. He found a direct link. The more someone accomplishes, the less time they spend blaming something or someone else. Okay, let's tackle one of the biggest excuses out there, intelligence. So many of us think we have to be some kind of genius to get ahead. But Schwartz just flips that idea completely on its head. He says your attitude is way more important than your intelligence. And he had this perfect story to illustrate it. Imagine you're hiring and you ask 2 candidates how tall the building is. The first one puffs out their chest and says, "It's 25 meters. I memorized it." Okay, impressive memory. But the second one says, I don't know. They run outside, measure their own shadow against the building's shadow, do some quick math, and come back and say, "It's about 23 meters. So, who are you hiring? It's a no-brainer, right? You want the person who can think, not just spit back facts. And what about that age excuse? I'm too old. Let's just do some simple math here. Let's say your productive life is roughly from age 20 to 70. That's a 50-year window. If you're 40, you've used up 20 of those years. You still have 30 years left. That is 60% of your productive life still ahead of you. Too old? No way. Not even close. So if excuseitis is the disease, what in the world is the cure? Well, this is where the magic really comes in. It's all about your mindset. This is the whole core idea of the book. The size of your success is a direct reflection of the size of your thoughts. And the man behind this, David J. Schwartz, he wasn't just some theorist. He was a professor, a top-tier motivation expert who worked with major companies. And his book, written way back in '59, has sold over 6 million copies for one simple reason. It works. The message is just as powerful today as it was then. Okay, if you only remember one thing, let it be this right here. This is the heart of the entire book. The size of your success is determined by the size of your belief. It's that simple. If you think small, safe goals, well, you'll probably get small, safe achievements. But if you dare to think big, you open yourself up to winning big. This chart just lays it all out so clearly. Look at the left side, the small thinkers. They're all about security, avoiding mistakes, waiting for the perfect time, and talking about problems. Now look to the right, the big thinkers. They see growth, they actually learn from their errors, and they act now. They don't see problems, they see opportunities. Just take a second and ask yourself, which column do you spend most of your time in? Now, of course, thinking big sounds great, but let's be real, it can be scary. So what do you do when that fear kicks in and just paralyzes you? Well, Schwartz has a really simple but incredibly powerful antidote for that. First things first, fear is real. We have to acknowledge that. It's not just in your head. It's a real, powerful force that can absolutely destroy success. But the good news, according to Schwartz, there is only one cure. And the cure is action. It's almost ridiculously simple. Think about standing at the edge of a cold swimming pool, afraid to jump in. The longer you stand there and think about it, the bigger that fear gets, right? But the second you take action, the second you jump, what happens? The fear is gone. You're just in the water. Action cured the fear. So he breaks this down into a super simple two-step formula you can literally use today. Step 1, isolate your fear. Don't let it be this vague, scary monster. Get a piece of paper and write down exactly what you're afraid of. Step 2, take action. Right below that fear, list some specific, concrete things, no matter how small, that you can do right now to face it. Okay, so we've diagnosed excusitis, we've got the antidote for fear. Now it's time to build our toolkit. These are the practical, everyday habits that are going to reinforce this new big thinking mindset. Want to build your confidence like right away? Try these 3 physical habits. First, be a front seater. Stop hiding in the back of the room. Sit up front. It signals that you're engaged and you're not afraid to be seen. Second, practice making eye contact. It's a nonverbal way of telling people and yourself that you're confident. And finally, speak up. Make it a rule to say something in every meeting. It doesn't have to be a groundbreaking idea. You're just taking your confidence vitamin. I absolutely love this analogy. Schwartz says to think of your mind as a memory bank. Every single day, you're making deposits. Now, if you only ever deposit your failures, your mistakes, your negative feedback, what do you think you're going to be able to withdraw? The key is to consciously deposit your positive memories, your wins, your successes, things you're proud of. That way, when you need a little boost, you can make a withdrawal from a very rich account. This is such a simple but powerful mental switch. When you ask yourself, can I do it? Your brain looks for a simple yes or no. And it's really good at finding reasons for no. It's a dead end. But the moment you switch the question to, how can I do it? Everything changes. You're assuming it's possible. You've just flipped your brain out of doubt mode and into creative problem-solving mode. It's not a question of if anymore. It's a question of how. So when you boil it all down, it really all comes down to a choice. The lessons in The Magic of Thinking Big show us that our background, our bank account, our IQ, those aren't the real limits. The only true ceiling is the one we put on our own thinking. So the question I'll leave you with is, how big are you going to let yourself think?